Welcome. I've created a series of open channel flow animations that I'd like to share with you. This animation shows discharge from a lake to a channel of varying slope. This is a particularly interesting problem when the outlet channel is mild, as I'll soon describe. Before we start this animation, let's first go over the different subfigures on the screen. This upper graph is simply a depiction of the system itself. We have a lake at the upstream end, and the total energy that's provided by the lake is shown by this dashed cyan line. The water surface is shown in blue. We have a channel here, and as you'll see as the animation unfolds, the slope of the channel will change. This green line here is at the outset of the animation, the S2 curve. We have critical flow right at the outfall from the lake, and then we have an S2 curve down to normal depth. And then you'll see that conditions will change as the slope changes. In the lower two graphs, we see the x-axis is channel slope in both cases, so basically the slope that we're varying in the system. In the lower right, we're showing discharge versus slope. So initially, we'll see that there is no effect of slope on discharge, but as the slope of the channel gets milder, we'll see that discharge will diminish. In the same way, in the lower left here, again, we're plotting versus slope. We're looking at the length of the S2 curve and how that varies with slope. You can see at the outset of the animation that I'm identifying where the critical slope will exist. Basically the slope that forces exactly critical conditions in the channel. And that is an important transition point in the overall animation. So let's set this in motion. So you can see that the channel slope is getting less steep with time. Let me pause it before things change too much. Discharge is a constant with slope. The length of the S2 curve is diminishing with slope, and you can see that basically normal depth is being arrived at a little bit sooner than at the outset of the animation. Let's push this through to critical conditions. So you can see that the channel is getting shallower and shallower. The length of the S2 is diminishing. Discharge isn't changing. We're about to get to critical conditions, and boom, there we are. We've just hit critical conditions. So you can see that critical depth and normal depth are essentially coincident now. You can see that discharge is constant. Maybe you can see the slightest hint of a diminution of discharge now that slope is less than critical slope. And we can see that the length of the S2 curve has reached 0. Let's let this play out some more. So you can see that we're sort of immediately at normal depth in the downstream channel. But obviously the lake outfall is not reaching critical conditions, and therefore the discharge is less. The energy from the lake is what's driving the discharge. Let me pause things for a moment. The energy from the lake is driving discharge. We have a balance of energy taking place at the outfall, but you can think of this downstream channel as the milder the slope becomes, the less it's able to drain the lake, and therefore the smaller the discharge that we observe. And we can let this play out further, and the flatter the slope of the outfall channel, the more it basically becomes like an extension of the lake itself, until we reach the very end, which is coming up in just a moment, and the lake has essentially become, the downstream channel has essentially become simply an extension of the lake. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this animation. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Also, you can click in the descriptions to watch other videos explaining other concepts from my book. Thank you.